What is up, you guys? I can already tell this hair is going to drive me crazy, but I've had a lot of questions from people asking, what is it like to go on tour? And what is it like to be a touring musician? And this is something that I can answer for you. Of course, there are all kinds of different touring musicians. Like some of them will be on cruise ships for months at a time, and the big names, a lot of times they'll be flying back and forth to their concerts. But what is it really like when you're roughing it in old vans or old tour buses and going for thousands of miles at a time? And I kind of give you guys a peek inside of that. Hey, what's up? I've gotten a lot of questions on what is touring really like, so I figured I'd take you along with us on this South Texas tour. We're in Rockport, Texas right now. You can kind of see some palm trees in the back, but I thought I'd take you along so you can see what it looks like. So I'm gonna make some friends with me today. They're following me everywhere. Okay. This is my new friend. We are sharing this waffle that's shaped like Texas together. Come here, babe. I would call this a good morning. So I'm in the dressing room right now. Good thing about being the only girl is that I get it all to myself. So usually it looks like I moved in every time. But the show is going on right now. I don't have to sing for this particular song. And these dressing rooms are always nice when you're in theaters because you get to hear the show going on and you know you're not going to miss when you need to go in. So about to go back out there. A big chunk of it is who you're traveling with. If you're putting together a band, it's important to really take into account the personalities that are going to be coming with you on these trips, because when you're crammed in a van or crammed on a tour bus, there's not a whole lot of room to get away. If you have a bunk on your tour bus, it makes all the difference in the world, because if you're not feeling it, you can just shut that curtain and be in your own little zen in your own little world while the miles are ticking by. So the longest I've done is 3 weeks at a time. Now there are plenty of musicians who've done a whole lot longer than that. But when you're shoved on a tour bus, you gotta really take into account, okay, how do I pack for 3 weeks? When part of it I'm gonna be up north and it's gonna be negative 10 degrees, and then we're going down south where it's gonna be about 70 degrees. So the packing can get really, really interesting, and I've learned to really consolidate, and I've got this huge makeup bag that carries everything that I need. Being a girl and touring is so much more intense than being a guy. Not against the guys. You guys are fantastic, but we just have to think about a whole lot more for hair and makeup and the clothing changes and all the things like that. So it can be a lot, but it's definitely a lot of fun. You have to have the right mentality about it. When you're doing the same show over and over and over again, it can become easy to start to slack in just these little places or be a little less excited about it because you're doing the same thing. So it's really important to mentally check off all the things that you're grateful for every day. That can make a huge difference for your shows, just to be sure that oh my gosh, I'm going to new places, I'm seeing new things, this is incredible, and just doing these shows every day, I feel like this is what I was born to do. So just making that mental check note of, okay, this is awesome, even if I'm exhausted, even if I'm on just a few hours of sleep. And there is a bit of a misconception. It does depend on how your shows are scheduled, but if you're doing a show every single day, like we were doing for that 3-week streak, I think we had 22 shows in 21 days, so it was a lot. And for that tour, we were up north.
Well, hey there, we just got done with show number 1 today. We're in St. Cloud, Minnesota. Hello, we're in Mitchell, South Dakota today. Hello, I just wanted to check in from Wisconsin. Today we are in Effingham, Illinois. Our last show was in Iowa. We've been really busy the past few days. We had 4 shows in Cleveland, Ohio, and then one in Columbus yesterday. Today we are in New York. Woo! So we just finished our last show here in Massachusetts.
Yes, back to what I was saying. There's a misconception when you're driving to new places every day, or a new state every day, that you get to really experience that state. It is sad, but if you're doing shows every single day, you end up kind of getting stuck right at that venue. Sometimes the setup for shows takes 4 or 5 hours, and then you've got to do the sound check, and then you've got to, I would have to do hair and makeup, and then boom, do the show. You tear down immediately, and then you head to the next city. So you weren't, if you're in a really cool town, you didn't necessarily get to see it. But that being said, when there is a little bit of extra time, you definitely want to take advantage and go see everything that you can. Okay, so this never happens. We have a day off today, and we're doing a show on Padre Island tomorrow, so we get the whole day to get on the beach. It's kind of raining right now, but I'm not gonna let that stop my joy. I am so excited. It's like 75 degrees right now, and that beats Missouri and Nashville at this point. So let's go have some fun. It's still misting, but the sun came out. So I'm hiking over to the beach. Oh yeah. There it is. I'll take it. For me, if we were kind of in a city and we had just maybe an hour, I would go for a run and just see as much of the city as I can, or do a little bit of research before. Sometimes I've taken Ubers to the beach just so that I was taking advantage of every minute that I had, but there isn't always that time. Sleeping. What is it like to sleep on a tour bus? I've been touring on a relatively older one, and it can be very, 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 very loud and very bumpy.
Woo! Y'all gonna make me lose my mind. Up in here, up in here.
And it depends on your driver. Sometimes you're kind of tossed out of your bunk, or you hit the rumble strips and just your face is just like blah, 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 blah. So it can be very interesting, but I would prefer a tour bus over a van anytime, because stretching out makes all of the difference. And as musicians, if you're not the driver, you don't have to worry about driving. We've got it really, really good when we're on the bus. Sure, we might get super stir crazy, but ultimately we get to stretch out, we get to move around a little bit. There's not a whole lot of space, and so that's incredible. If I was sitting for 26 hours at a time or more, sometimes 30, 35 hours that we're on the bus, I would lose my mind. But what are some things that you can do on the bus? I don't know if you know this, but Netflix allows you to download videos, so you don't have to use all of your data. So if you're picking a new show, that's great, but it is easy to get stuck just looking for entertainment, when on a normal day you might be bettering yourself a little bit. So definitely bringing books, kind of writing out schedules of what you're gonna do in your free time, having some Kindle books really pass the time for me as well. And not gonna lie, I usually look pretty rough on the tour bus after shows, because I wanted to take all my makeup off, just get my hair out of the way, throw on some sweats because we're moving equipment and stuff like that. And so I didn't do a whole lot of social media while we're on the bus, mostly just because I looked like an old hag all the time, just until just right before the show. So if you're a little bit prettier traveler than me, you can definitely work on your social media accounts while you're traveling. Alright, talking about food when you're touring, it can be touch and go depending on who your tour manager is or who's kind of in charge of deciding where you eat and everything. It is good to pack. I would pack a lot of like little healthy microwavable oatmeals and little microwavable soups, apples, stuff like that, trail mix. So if you're stopping at a really kind of an unhealthy place, you have kind of a backup. Otherwise, it's easy to be like, okay, I'm tired, I'm hungry, let me order the most unhealthy thing on the menu, and then that starts to kind of affect your energy also going down. So it's good to be prepared and pack ahead, pack a lot of food. I think the entire tour bus judges me with how many bags of groceries I haul on that bus. Ta-da! Wow. But it really helps me from just getting into a bad habit of eating greasy stuff every single day, because that's what you want at the end of the day when you're tired and exhausted and you know you're gonna be on a bus for hours, is just kind of indulge and just, you're like, well, we're done with this is great, let me just eat what I want. But as a girl, you can't really do that. It was scary for me being up north sometimes because it was so cold, it was so dry. You're going from the bus to motel rooms to the venues, and all of those tend to be really, really dry, and that really affects you if you're a singer. So I have to be drinking all kinds of water. I would be taking so many vitamins that have supplements, and it would kind of get ridiculous a little bit. And I would use my dress steamer as a humidifier just to put some moisture in the air, and I would bring teas with me and all kinds of things like that. And at one point I was just so dry and miserable, I just had to go to Facebook for help. I was like, okay, other performers or other travelers, like, what do you do when the rooms are so dry, these motel rooms? And some people were saying that you even just like put wet towels around, because that will make the air just a little bit more moist. And I did that, and that did help. I'd be running the hot shower. I feel a little guilty about using water like that, but I was desperate because I was losing my voice and still had like tons of shows to come. So if I lost my voice at this point, I would be putting the band kind of in a pickle for the rest of the tour. So as a singer, you really, really got to take care of yourself, and it can be fun to be like, okay, yeah, get in a habit of getting done with the show, feel good, feel great, let's crack open a beer and just have a good time. But like, if you do that over and over again, it knocks your immune system a little bit and does dry out your voice. Alcohol tends to do that, and not to over caffeinate. So there's all kinds of balances that you really have to find if you're touring, just to keep yourself healthy and keep yourself in a good headspace, to like look at every show as something new. This is a new audience, they haven't seen this before, even though you can do it in your sleep and it might be boring you to death and you want new material at this point. So really taking care of yourself mentally and physically is really crucial. As a singer, when you're doing shows every day, it's easy to start knocking the warm-ups. You're like, I'm fine, just go out there and do my thing. But over time, that can cause more stress on your vocal cords, and so it's important to do the same, not necessarily the same, but to warm up every show, even though it gets so old. Those warm-ups are not usually fun. Like, you just want to be singing songs and feeling good. But just like athletes, you do need to warm up your body before you're going into any kind of intense, vigorous exercise, and same thing for singers. So looking after those vocal cords.
Cornerstone. He died too young!
5, 4.
Have a great broadcast.
You too, darling.
But overall, I would say if you get the opportunity to tour, to absolutely take it, regardless of what kind of genre it is. If it's not your niche genre, or if you don't know if you get along with these people, you learn a lot. And it's really, really good. So if you have any other questions about what it's like to be a touring musician, feel free to comment below, and I can answer those for you. To be honest, it is awesome, and I'm so grateful for every single tour that I've done. Usually fall and winter is busier for the group that I tour with, and we'll go for weeks at a time, then sometimes come back for a week and then go back out, and it's an adventure. It really, really is, and I'm very, very grateful for that. But let me know if you have any questions. It's great to see you guys, and I'll see you in the next video.